Hello, my friend, and welcome to Double Your Income. In this program, I'm going to be walking you through the same process that has empowered me to grow in my creative potential and to grow my income exponentially in the process. Now, I'd like to start by asking you a few simple but obvious questions, but they're important. The first one is do you have a dream? Or do you really have a dream that you're passionate about? Do you have some goals, that really clear goals? And does it feel for you as if you could achieve those goals faster if you just had a little bit more time, right? If you didn't have to work so many hours earning what you currently earn? What would happen if you could increase what you earn working the same number of hours you currently work? Or what if you could actually double your income within the next year? In the next 12 months, what if you could double your income? What would that mean for you? What would that mean for your family? What would that mean for your future? For most people, it would change the trajectory of their entire life. So let's jump right into the program. Here's what I'd like you to do now is in your workbook on the first content notes page, I'd like you to write down, to the best of your knowledge, the most amount of money that you've ever earned in a single year. How much money did you earn? What is that number? Now, this is going to be an uncomfortable conversation for you and for a lot of people, because we're going to talk a lot about money. And whenever we talk about money, it's right up there with politics, sex, and religion, right? It's probably something that you just don't want to talk about with just anybody. It can be an uncomfortable topic. And it's a personal topic, of course, because we have lots of personal beliefs attached to money, don't we? We have as many beliefs about money as we do our own religious beliefs or our own political views. We have an attachment to those beliefs and really an emotional attachment to money and all that it represents, as we do in our primary love relationships. Money is a very personal topic, and it can make people feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to just kind of ask you to kind of take a breath, sit back, and just observe what you may be feeling during the course of the program. Try not to get too worked up about the idea of doubling your income. Don't allow your mind to spiral as it relates to, how you're going to be able to do it, or if even you're capable of doing it. If you find yourself coming up against any limiting beliefs, just say to yourself, isn't that interesting? Just kind of allow yourself to observe the thought and just be open-minded to the consideration of what I'm going to be sharing with you. How does someone double their income? How does someone double their income? Well, I can tell you the first step. The first step is that you have to be open-minded to the idea. Simple step, right? You've got to be open-minded just to the idea. This is one of the things that I learned when I first started in business, was I just had to, I had to be open-minded. Let me just share a little bit of history of my own story. And for some of you, you've heard my story, so it may feel like a little bit review, but I want to filter it through the idea of how we double our income. It was in 1988. And I was a high school dropout. Now, when I say high school dropout, I'm being kind. I failed out of school. I was serving with the Guardian Angels. I was volunteering with Curtis Sliwa. Guardian Angels were the guys that wear the red berets and patrolled the subway systems of New York City and the public housing projects and, crime-ridden, neighborhoods all around the United States. And I was with Curtis, and after working with him and volunteering for a number of years, I resigned, and I had about $200 to my name. And I took that $200 and I invested, and I bought a used vacuum cleaner. I bought some furniture polish. I bought some window cleaner. I bought some rags. I bought a mop, a bucket, a wringer. And I made a declaration that I was going to start a business and I was going to go into the commercial cleaning business. I was going to get rich. I wanted to become a millionaire. And who doesn't, right? Now, in many respects, that was an unreasonable goal. It was an unreasonable expectation for maybe even the average person, but really unreasonable for someone who was a high school dropout with no business experience. But here's what happened to me. A few years later, I think through divine intervention, I had an opportunity to be mentored by my first mentor. His name was Patrick Hayes. So I started the cleaning business in 1988, and I struggled, as most entrepreneurs do in those first few years. And then in 1991, Patrick was my first real mentor, the first person who sat me down, told me that he believed in me, saw my potential, and he reached behind him and he grabbed the book, and it was a copy of the book, Think and Grow Rich. And he said, I'm not just going to have you read the book. I'm going to mentor you and I'm going to coach you through the book. And over the next 2 years, he did that. He took me word by word, line by line, paragraph by paragraph, page by page, chapter by chapter. And over those next 2 years, I deeply immersed myself into prosperity thinking, prosperity teaching, what I call prosperity consciousness. Now, I'm talking about prosperity consciousness. I had poverty consciousness. And Patrick began to have me study the idea of universal laws of creation, that the universe creates by law, and that we have an opportunity to understand what those laws are and then to work with those laws in our life.